Imagine you're walking down the street late at night and suddenly two huge guys pop out of a 24/7 gym and come walking towards you. They're bodybuilders. Are you going to cross the street to not have to walk by them? Why not? They're huge. They could beat you up. No. Why would you? They're gym bros, not gangsters. Yeah, they might look intimidating, but they're not dangerous. Now imagine walking down that same block at night and all of a sudden two crack addicts pop out of an alleyway, hobbling in your direction. They're underweight, soaking wet. They look desperate. Are you going to stay on this side of the street? Strength is not scary. Weakness is. Desperation is scary. Us nice guys are the dating world's crack addicts. We're scaring people. We could do anything. We're desperate. Now, why is it fair to say that nice guys are drug addicts? Well, we're addicted to female validation because we don't know who we are. Let's talk about self-consciousness, i.e., giving way too many damns what others think of us. The more self-conscious you are, the harder it is to know who you are. The more you care what others think of you, the harder it is to know yourself. The heart of knowing who we are is self-respect. Self-respect is the ability to set boundaries, the ability to say no to ourselves and to others. Before we get into the practical steps of how to start doing so, let's take a look at what happens when human beings are unable to say no. The story of Adam and Eve. By eating from the tree of knowledge, Adam and Eve suddenly felt very weird. The tree of knowledge had given them crippling self-knowledge, self-consciousness. They became ashamed of their sex organs. During puberty, as humans mature sexually, they become self-conscious. Self-consciousness peaks in adolescence. Brain and hormonal changes make social evaluation and peer acceptance especially salient. Evolutionarily, this heightened self-awareness motivates behaviors that improve social integration, learning, and eventual reproductive success, key advantages for survival in complex social environments. As nature would have it, nothing within it exists in vain. Self-consciousness is a tool that has its place as we become adult creatures. But in today's social media age, we are particularly susceptible to not doing it in moderation. We overindulge the tool to where it becomes a liability, a major liability. But it's not like humans are doomed to be self-conscious for the rest of their lives. Self-consciousness is self-inflicted. Most of human suffering is self-inflicted. Self-consciousness is the root cause of all human suffering. As we mature sexually, we lose our ability to just be in the moment like we did as children. We go from experiencing the moment to observing the experience of the moment. We lose the ability to experience. When we lose the ability to experience, we become our own worst enemy. This is our ego. Being nice guys, we struggle with this in particular. Ego, shame, self-consciousness, crippling self-knowledge, whatever you want to call it, is the root cause of all human suffering. No wonder it's the central theme of humanity's original story, Adam and Eve. As it turns out, the main place in our psyche where ego and shame manifest is sexual identity. So how can we start to say no and give freely without needing female validation in return? Let's dive in. We will look at the 4 layers to start respecting ourselves and knowing who we are. If you want my free PDF guide with the 2 first steps to break your vicious avoidance habits, you can get it in my free school community linked below. After getting started on quitting porn and replacing it with cold approach as laid out in the PDF, we need to get busy with life. We need to be out of the house as much as possible. The 3 things to tackle are get fit, make money, be social. Get fit, make money, be social. That's it. This is the very first step to get out of overthinking mode. Everything else is just theory and not enough experience. Behavioral activation is super simple. It's just kind of hard to implement, but it doesn't have to be. An accountability buddy increases our chances of success by 5x. On some level, behavioral activation means to do violence to your will, which is probably why it mops the floor with therapy at treating depression, especially for men. Don't take my word for it. There have been studies on this. As the word implies, behavioral activation is all about taking action and transforming theory into experience. The key to success is cramming as much experience into the shortest amount of time. You can't talk about it, you have to do it. If you know how to kick your own ass, more power to you. If you don't, You need an accountability buddy or a mentor to help you kick your own ass. Now, there's a gazillion ways to get fit, make money, and be social. And obviously, it comes down to what your current situation looks like. So we're not going to be discussing it here. To help you go out there, though, and do violence to your will, I suggest you book a complimentary consultation call with me where I help you develop a game plan. That's what I'm here for, to help you kick yourself in the ass. Links in the description. So what's the right way to do behavioral activation, you ask? Wait, there's a right way and a wrong way? Chances are you're already interacting with the world in some way. Now, to learn how to respect ourselves, we need to start behaving in a different way than the way thus far. We need to implement behavioral activation the right way. As nice guys who don't know who they are, we are not truly giving. We always need girls to pay us back for our niceness. Instead, we should be asking ourselves how we can add value to their lives without expecting anything in return. I don't need to eat chocolate cake to survive, but if I happen to eat chocolate cake, I'm gonna like it. If someone tells me, hey, you look good in that shirt, I'm gonna like it. Validation feels good. If it happens, it happens. But when I engineer my day around getting emotional credits from others, I am not being myself. I'm trying to get little pieces of identity from the people around me. Human beings find meaning when providing value, but only when it's for fun and for free. And not just girls, my dude. We want to be of service to the world. And the wonderful thing when our actions come from this place, we end up serving ourselves in the best way possible. Serving the world is actually the only way to serve ourselves. That's when we're emotionally autonomous and don't need to source validation from others. We're our own source of validation. More on that in a little bit. The only way to not need validation from others is by staying busy and working on our stuff. Being busy living. Whatever you happen to be working on in the moment, it doesn't matter as long as you are, in fact, in the moment. Beating a challenging level in a video game doesn't count. That's not the real world. It has to be out in the physical world. Before eating from the tree of knowledge, Adam and Eve were carefree children who had no issue being in the moment. They were not ashamed of anything. They didn't know what self-consciousness is, and yet they didn't really know who they were either. Their sense of self was not developed enough to say no to the temptation of the forbidden fruit. It's important to look at this with nuance. Only when going through puberty and becoming self-conscious can we actually develop an identity and self-respect. It's not possible to expect self-respect of a carefree child. Yes, children too have boundaries, but these are usually related to intuitive, simple things like, for example, when they don't want to be cuddled because they're in the middle of playing. Their boundaries are not fleshed out to the extent necessary to resist tempting propositions such as the proverbial forbidden fruit. Instant gratification is much more difficult to resist than what children usually say no to. Saying no to instant gratification requires a fleshed out emotional spectrum. Now, people-pleasing is an emotional dysfunction, as we know. And as nice guys, we are confused about what it means to give. Recovering from this confusion, as I've mentioned before, is not in saying, that's it. It's toxic for me to do people favors. I remember thinking this. I thought I was giving value. I thought I was being of service. But of course I wasn't. That's how far out of touch I was with my emotions, and it was eating me alive. Doing people favors is not the problem. It's when we need them to pay us back. A recovery from the complete misunderstanding of what it means to give is to learn to give for fun and for free. I learned this when I stumbled upon the idea of being a kindness ninja. Actually, that's not true. I wish I'd stumbled upon this idea when I was 19 and totally lost. I would have totally done it. So what's a kindness ninja? Well, it's someone who does anonymous acts of kindness for others. For example, tidy up a shared space at work or home without telling anyone, or clean up the office kitchen or refill the printer paper without saying a word. Or become a fix-it ninja. Notice something broken in your building, a loose doorknob, a squeaky hinge, a dead light bulb, and fix it without telling anyone. Or tape quarters to a laundromat machine with a note that says, laundry's on me today. Or tape €2 to a vending machine with a note that says, for your next snack. Or you pick up litter in your neighborhood or local park during off hours leaving the area better than you found it. Or you could be a creative ninja and create small art pieces like doodles, painted rocks, origami animals, mini poems, and leave them in random spots for strangers to find. Or my personal favorite is on a community board or in your building's lobby, you put up a take what you need sign with tear off tabs with words like courage, hope, friendship. Sounds a little silly, I'll admit, but do this at least 3, 4, 5 times and see how it changes you. We are retraining our brains to associate giving with internal joy, not external validation. And we're building our generosity muscle. The more we do it, the more natural and fun it becomes. This is the perfect practice to complement cold approach. In fact, the very first steps in cold approach are also based on giving and extricating ourselves before the other person can reciprocate. For example, telling a girl she's looking cute today and moving on immediately. Being a kindness ninja will change your brain for the better. It's a fantastic way to shift from people-pleasing to genuine giving. We are now only one layer away from becoming truly self-respecting young men who don't need validation from others. We're developing a sense of identity to the point of becoming self-validated men. Pre-validated means our source of validation comes from within. The key to cultivating this inner source of validation is the key to living the good life. Fulfillment. It definitely starts with getting the previous layers right without skipping any. But this last layer is really where the rubber hits the road. So how on earth do you get this locked in? Self-validation, pre-validation. This is where it gets interesting. Just like with confidence and where to get it from when we have none, we have to fake it till we make it. Matter of fact, back up. I don't actually believe fake it till you make it is the best approach. It's better than not taking any action, to be sure, but look, I'm going to have to be totally honest with you. I'm still working this one out. What I will say is cultivating a fundamentally solid belief in oneself is downstream of a belief in something bigger than oneself. Question is, what is that thing? And that's why we're getting into tricky territory here. I'm not religious by any stretch of the imagination. But what I have come to understand is that denying the role of faith in our mental and emotional health is ludicrous. Hope is a real thing. If you were to ask a religious person how to become a pre-validated human being, the answer is obvious. And this I find to be the most compelling argument for religion, by the way. They'll tell you, I don't know any other way than to have a personal relationship with God, i.e., my Creator Father takes care of me all the time. He gives me everything I need. Again, I'm not religious by any stretch of the imagination. Everyone, even the staunchest atheist, runs on hope. And hope is a form of faith. Belief and faith are as integral to the human existence as breathing and water to stay alive. If you don't believe in yourself, but are serious about overcoming your crippling fear in the next 6 weeks and would like to work with me directly, click the link below to book a free consultation call. I'll discuss becoming pre-validated from within ourselves again soon. Until then, stay nice. Just kidding.